February 26, 2018. It's now 7:00 p.m. If everyone would please rise and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. We are on item 2, invocation, and this evening we're joined by Pastor Nate Babcock. Pastor Nate? Yeah, thanks. We have a new,
Last time
yeah,
I
I
was
know, right? We got a desk
It's
now.
weird with my back to everybody. Okay.
You can turn around.
You can turn around if you want, yeah.
Let's do it like that.
Now you got
Okay.
your back
There you
to
go.
us.
There you
No,
go.
well-
That's all right. We're good.
How about I stand like this? Huh?
Here.
I'm not going back to them.
Whatever you're
I'm not gonna win.
comfortable with, Pastor Nate,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay, thank you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, you instituted government that those in authority might promote what is good and punish that which is evil. I pray that you would give the men and women on this council the wisdom to promote the welfare of this community. Lord, we also pray for those in our community that have been affected by the floods, that are still getting water out of their property and have some rebuilding and repairing to do. We ask your blessing on them and help us as a community to be supportive and to come around them and do what we can on their behalf. Thank you for your grace and mercy, and may you bless this meeting. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Nate. We're up to item number 3, roll call. Gladys?
Hess,
Here?
Moore is absent. Tarney,
Here.
Bianski,
Yes.
Cole. Here. You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you, Gladys. We are up to item number 4, public comments. Citizens are allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss any agenda item. Please approach the microphone and state your name and as well as your address. All right, with there being no takers, let's move on to the consent calendar. I need a motion to approve, Commissioner Viganski?
I don't want to excuse Pat before next meeting. I mean, usually we excuse them after they've missed the meeting, not before. And I really don't want to approve that placement form without discussing it. Because I believe, and I might be wrong, correct me if I am wrong, that it says it's because we're just trying to give more precedent to the city rather than non-city, but there's actually a sentence in there that gives Bill Marks, our city manager, the discretion, so really there wouldn't be no need to even come talk to us if he can decide when to place the banners. So, I mean, I'd really like to have it removed from the consent calendar.
Okay, I'll need a motion.
Also move.
Okay, you have to move, to state what you're going to move.
I'd like to remove excusing Patricia Moore since she's not actually missed the meeting yet because we haven't even had it. And I'd like to remove the banner placement form because I'd like to have it open to public discussion and commissioners' discussion.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, motion fails. I need another motion to approve the calendar as written.
I'll make that motion to accept the consent calendar as is.
I'll second.
Okay, Gladys?
Hess,
Yes?
Bianski,
No.
Cole,
Yes,
Tarney,
Yes.
unanimous, Your Honor.
All right, moving on to item number 6, reports by departments, committees, and boards. And this evening, we are joined by Reliable and Republic Disposal. And Bob, you're going to have to help me out with your last name. Diorsi, okay. Excellent, come right on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the commission and Mr. Marks and Gladys for inviting me down for my annual State of the Trash and Recycling of Buchanan. So I've got a little PowerPoint I put together with some numbers and then want to talk a little bit about recycling. So I can kind of bounce around here. If I just kind of give you a high sign, you can move across and go from there. It's been a kind of a quiet year, other than the snow we had here in the last month or so and everything else going on. It's been kind of quiet. So if you want to dive right into the numbers, Gladys, we'll go from there. These are your volumes last year. Your trash, it seems like when you look and you see the trash volumes up compared to last year, you're not alone. Almost every community, municipal community we service, especially in cleanups here, I saw a dramatic increase in volumes of trash, especially cleanups and stuff like that. So we collected 1,243 tons of trash from the city of Buchanan. It's up quite a bit. That's a misprint. That should be up 150 from 2016. I apologize. And then recyclables, 103 tons. That's down a little bit from 2016. And I think that, we're still struggling getting people to participate, but the people who are participating are doing a very good job. If you look at, even though that's down a little bit, the people that are actually doing it are doing a nice job. Bulk pickup, about 15 tons. That's up about double from last year. And then the spring drop-off was also up, 41 tons in spring drop-off from about 38. So those are the numbers on what we did last year. And also I have, most of you know Brian Grice. He's your driver here in the community, and he has celebrated his 15th anniversary with Republic Services and working with the city of Buchanan. So,
Yay, congratulations.
I see him sometimes at 5:30 in the morning.
yeah, he gets out. He gets out and moves along, that's for sure. So what I wanted to talk about tonight, as I said, there's not a lot of earth-shattering. Had some crazy things last year with our new call center and a lot of things going on. But I want to talk a little bit about recycling, the state of recycling and what's going on and where to look in the future. And the first thing to say is that Republic Services is committed to recycling, committed to sustainability, committed to helping the city achieve its sustainability goals. So recycling's not going away, but it's changed. The market has changed quite a bit. So we're kind of trying to talk to people so they understand a little bit about why we charge for recycling and what happens to it as it moves forward and how the market's changed. So Gladys, if you want to hit the next one. Recycling is, what you collect are commodities, just like gold, silver, anything like that. They have value once you get it processed and get it to the actual factories to be reprocessed. But as an example, cardboard. Cardboard, is typically was up in the $200 a ton range, and it's gradually dropped. Right now, it's about $85 a ton. Now, that's not what we get paid. That's what, after the recycler bales it into mill-ready bales and sends it out to the recycling centers, that's what they would get paid. So that part of the commodity is down. You're talking about material getting a little bit lighter, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about the plastics and stuff like that. So that's impacting the recycling, because it's all, when you first do it, you've got your transportation, your containers, your processing, and then actually the sale of goods, sale of products. So when that's down, it affects the overall cost. Go ahead, Gladys. But a couple things that I find some interesting facts in here. And you think about newspaper. In the beginning, year 2000, 2001, 18 million tons of newsprint. Right now, 2 million tons, and that was 2015, so it's probably half of that, because we all have tablets now, we all have iPhones. When was the last time anybody got a newspaper? Well, that newspaper had value. It was $100, $150 a ton. Well, it's not there. It's not there anymore. Plastics are changing. They're going from those big, heavy, like they show you the Tide bottle, the big, heavy Tide bottles that had weight, to these lightweight things that are coming out. I don't see any bottles of water sitting around. That's probably because they can't stand up on their own anymore. You see how thin the plastic bottles get? It used to take about 24,000 bottles to make a ton, and now it takes processing to get the same end result. Metal containers, a lot of those metal cans are going away. You see a lot of these plastic cans. Well, unfortunately, a lot of those plastic cans have wrapping or sealing in them that are no longer recyclable, at least in this waste stream. So it's, again, it's just changed as we go. Go ahead. So, glass, we have to pay to get rid of. The market for glass is way, way down. And a matter of fact, in many places, you can't get rid of the glass. It's very, very hard to find somebody that'll take it. As a matter of fact, down south and out west, we have many programs that are no longer accepting glass. We're still accepting it here in Michigan and in northern Indiana where this material goes. So that's the good news, but glass is a tough one to where glass used to be worth a lot of money. Cardboard we talked about. So, and the other thing, which I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but we may see rear its ugly head as it moves, is they have something called the China ban. China used to take a substantial amount of cardboard and plastics that was sent over. And they used to, I'll give you just a quick example. The cardboard they would take would be what was called kind of a mixed bale. They'd take cardboard and lesser grades of cardboard and paperboard. Well, they've changed that now, and they only want certain clean grades of the cardboard to take. So that's kind of hurt, costs more processing, and eliminated some of the need for where cardboard goes. So while recycling is still the right thing to do, there's still money. It's changing a little bit, and we have to evolve and change with it as we go. And as I say, it's very sustainable, and we're going to stay committed to recycling. So one of the things that we'd like to talk about, and we can help get out to the residents, go ahead, is the importance of cleaning up some of the contamination. Right now, we have, in the recyclables we collect, and this is just out of our Stevensville market, about an 8% residual factor. So that means out of everything we collect, about 8% of it ends up going in the trash because it's either contaminated or somebody put the wrong product in there. Yard waste. Styrofoam is a big one. Pizza boxes is still huge. You know, if it's a greasy pizza box, it's really not recyclable. So, a lot of food contamination, and believe it or not, clothing. We get tons of clothing that go in the recycling bins. I don't know why. Plastic toys, while that plastic is very recyclable, just not in this waste stream of what goes out. Okay, go ahead. So what we want to talk about and try to educate people is what we're calling empty, clean, and dry. And it's real simple, and everybody probably does this anyway. We're just trying to get to the people that will clean out their ketchup bottle before they put it in the bin. Clean out their mayonnaise or whatever. Wipe out those plastic containers you have with food in it. It takes all of 30 seconds to do. But we're talking about empty, clean, and dry. So you can go and walk through these. Make sure everything is empty, clean it out. You don't have to scrub it out. Just run a little hot water and then clean it out. That's fine. Before you toss it, clean it. So say getting them out a little bit thing. Flip them over, let them sit, drain the water out for 15, 20 minutes, then put it in the bin, and then you can toss them in the container. So it's just that little stuff that I said will help clean up that waste stream or the recycling stream to make it even cleaner, which will help in the long run bring down costs. So just a little bit of education, and I will help the city get this information if you can get it posted on the website and things like that. And we're doing some educational campaigns, some mailers out in the invoices that's going to have this information in it, and can go from there. So that's really all I got just to kind of share with you tonight. We do appreciate working with the city. We've been partners for a long time, and we appreciate your business, and I know Brian does, and I'm glad to be here. So I'd be available for questions if you have any.
Okay, questions? Commissioner Dan?
What are you doing how many homes do we have? Do we have 500 in Buchanan?
A little bit more. No, I think you're just a little bit under.
Has that gone up at all?
A little bit.
Is there any sort of cycle or anything that we can do? Because I think originally when it came out, when we got grants to buy the big green monster that we didn't use very long, and the blue boxes, instead of putting dumpsters in the apartment buildings, they put a blue box in an apartment. If you have an apartment, it's another 2x2 space that you lost in your apartment. It was mandated at that time. But now, and I thought I've been paying for recycling ever since. And is there anything we can do as far as mandating that, or,
Well,
and, I mean, I'll add another question. If it's expensive, why not do away with the glass?
Well, glass is only one component of what's driving that. Okay, so, you know, the glass is a percentage of product we pick up. Is, I can't give you exact, but it's less than 10% because we have bottle billing. So most of the glass is
Okay,
recycled, is gone back through the 10-cent reimbursement in Michigan.
Right.
So we don't get a ton of it, you know, as a percentage of the volume, but it's heavy. So it's, as a percentage of weight, it's a little bit more.
okay.
So, but you asked the question about, you know, can you mandate it? You know, that's up to you as a commission and what you want to do, but I don't know if you're aware of some of the things that are going on with what the governor's proposing in the state right now. He came out with some proposed legislation to really take another stab at pushing recycling. You'll probably start to see more and more about it in the coming months. They're starting to talk about possibly putting a tax onto landfills, which, you know, you have here. So if that were to pass, you may have heard something about it, that it's, you know, would be a tax that would go on to every ton, and that money would go to promoting recycling. So we don't know, you know, where that's gonna go. All I can tell you is Republic is gonna support, we're gonna stay committed to recycling, and we're gonna keep offering those services. One thing that we can do to help, and I would be more than happy, or Republic would be more than happy to provide the information. Matter of fact, I don't know, Gladys, do you have that other, is that other file you see to bring up off that PowerPoint? There's one more little document I have. But I'd be more than happy to provide this type of information to the residents in an effort to hopefully maybe get more people to start recycling, things like that. If the city could help us in a, you know, get it distributed, you know, get a mailing list, or get, I don't know if you have, you know, newsletter that goes out, it would be that, right, recycling newsletter right there. But we have this type of information that we could help do an education program in the city of Pocono.
It's not wanting to open.
Well, anyway, I can show you what it looks like. It's the Empty, Clean, and Dry initiative. It's kind of the same thing we just discussed. But it would be a nice newsletter form like that, which talks about, you know, a little bit about what I discussed. And then has the clean, empty, dry, and then has the acceptable materials on the back. So I'd be more than happy to produce this and get it customized for the city of Buchanan and distribute it. We're sending things like this out in our invoices. They're not quite as much as this, but this would be like a front and a back.
Commissioner,
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Commissioner Turney?
You know, you have to pardon me, I'm kind of losing my voice. It's hard to mandate a bill. However, I used to work for a gas utility, and what we used to do is if you did one thing and ordered another thing, you got a discount. I don't know, maybe that would help out getting people to recycle. We're always recycling. We've been recycling from when it wasn't even popular. Just a thought. It's just hard. People just don't want to, you know, take that extra, what is it, $9 or something now, or $7? Yeah, so,
And it, you know, it really is, it's just a mindset of what you get used to. And I know before, when we just had the little bins, before we went to the carts, I mean, I've been in the industry 30 years, I never recycled. It was a pain. And we went to the carts probably 6-7 years ago now, and now I have more recyclables than I do trash.
yeah, just a thought.
It's just a way, you know, habit, a way of life. They're doing it in the schools, and, you know, it's coming, and there may be a day where it will be at the state, I don't know. But, you know, the best thing we can do is educate as best we can and offer the services and have a city like yourself behind it and support it. It's the best thing to do right now, and go from there. Yes, sir.
If he raises the tax, how much is he gonna raise the tax, as he said?
It's discussion right now. I mean, it's.
But I
as
mean,
said-
and everybody's gonna pay the tax, plus we're gonna have to pay the recycling. So my point being is if we get people to recycle, maybe we won't get the tax. Cause the tax won't go away, but the fee might.
Correct, yeah, so,
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, whether people wanna pay it or not, they're gonna pay it whether, one way or the other.
yeah, I would look up, take some time and look up, it's all over the internet, and, if you're also interested, I'm a member of the Michigan Recycling Coalition. Our annual meeting is in Kalamazoo this May. If you'd like to come up, I could make sure that the city gets some, tickets to get in. It's, to come by and, you know, maybe get a little educated, and you can hear exactly.
That would be a good idea. We can educate the citizens.
DEQ is gonna do a whole day on the state initiatives and things like that, plus other things going on. So it would, if you have interest, let Gladys know, and she can let me, and I'll be more happy to provide some tickets for you guys.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, and thank you for coming this
Yes,
evening.
thank
You're
you.
welcome. It's great to see you guys again, and I
So-
appreciate your time.
And thank
It's
you,
always
Brian.
nice to see my driver.
I know. we gotta- He just hits me up for dinner.
All right. And with that, we're on item number 7, unfinished business. And this evening, we have no unfinished business, so we're going to move right on to item number 8, new business, item A. Consider approving Resolution 2018-02, Development Project Agreement Amendment Number 2 for TF 11-039 McCoy's Creek Trail Development. And Bill or Deborah, who are we going to hear from? Deborah, come right on up.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you know, we've had a trail grant from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for a while. We're moving along full speed, and toward the end of the original project period, the Trail Committee decided they wanted to add a mural to the scope of project activities, which the DNR approved. And we were moving right along until the mural was vandalized, which caused a significant delay to repair that and then to resume where they left off. In addition, the effort was done entirely by volunteers. So, you know, it was when they had time as well as when the weather would allow the paint to be painted. So long story short, it took a little longer than we thought, and so I provided an explanation to the DNR. They accepted the explanation, and they've asked us to approve this amendment number 2. Once it is approved, then we will be able to submit our final request for reimbursement and close this grant out and hopefully have a project to apply for another one.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions?
No, I think we all know the story.
Yep, thank you. All right, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Development Project Agreement Amendment Number 2 for TF 11-039 McCoy Creek Trail Development.
Can I-
Sorry for my voice.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll support.
Okay, thank you. Gladys, roll call?
Bianski,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes,
Hess,
Yes.
Tarney,
Yes,
unanimous, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah.
And that would be Resolution 166.
Thank you, Gladys, 166. All right, new business item B, consider approving updated schedule of fees.
Mayor, Commissioners, we annually try to look at our fees to make sure that they are in line, if they need to be increased or decreased. And in your briefing, you were provided with approximately 6 items on that fee list that we'd like to make some adjustments to. Special use fee increased from $175 to $200, which was recommended by our zoning administrator. That special use fee opportunity has seen a great deal of activity this year, and so expenses have gone up a little bit on that. So we'd like you to consider an increase there. The third, the next item, third offense civil fine decreased to $100. Again, that's another zoning recommendation by the administrator. FOIA labor fee reduced is, Gladys can probably provide some information on that. We're limited on what we can charge So we need to become in line, we need to get in line with what the statute allows us to charge. NSF, non-sufficient funds check fee, increased by $10. It's 25 presently. We'd go up to 35. For right now, that's what is recommended by the treasurer. Delinquent billings on taxes, also recommended by the treasurer, and that would be in circumstances of non-payment of tax bills that exceed 6 months. At that point, it causes a lot more work to, again, repost those delinquent taxes, send out additional mailings, work with the county. So when you don't pay your tax bill, there's a residual effect that causes us a lot of staff time, so. And then the final item, banner placement fee of $10. That would be for, in line with the athletic banners that we have put up. That's what we requested. And then that $10 is for actually taking up and taking down. So that's a bargain. We need to charge at least something for that effort. That would also go along with the large banners that we place above the roadways. So those are the recommendations we'd like you to approve for, in order to update our schedule of fees for the city.
Okay, Commissioner Dale?
Bill, just a question on the delinquent billing and taxes. Are you talking, that you just, you're not talking the tax, you're talking our costs that's affiliated?
Yes, we would establish the labor cost, staff costs for resubmitting those, some of those additional fees is a set amount of $100. That would be added on to the tax bill as a late fee because of the amount of work that not only the city of Buchanan has to do, but then the county of Berrien has to do.
So what you're basically saying is at least 100 hours possibly
Yes.
going on the tax bill, because it wasn't specified. And I'm glad you clarified the banner placement, because it's only said banner placement fee $10, but as long as we're $10 to put up and $10 to take down, because our
It's-
people
it's-
are out there.
That's a bargain,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
a real bargain.
And, yep, and you clarified the NSF fee, because most people now, banks, utilities, it's 35, 45 hours, so, yeah. And the FOIA, I think Gladys has more information on that.
You want to mention the statute limitations that,
The reason that decreased is because our administrative secretary is part-time, and so we can only charge the lowest paid employees hourly wage for that.
Thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Dan?
In the schedule of fees that I've got here, special use is being charged $250 right now, and variance interpretations is being charged $175. Is that the increase? Because right next to the special use, it shows proposed by zoning administrate, and we're already charging these people $5,000 because it's all about the marijuana. We all know that.
No, that's two totally separate, that's two totally separate things. The $5,000 is for the medical marijuana facilities permit application. The special use is for zoning. For example, Casey's, that's just going through. There was also other things than not just medical marijuana.
And special use always costs a lot more because there's a lot more work to, would you like to come up and address that, Deborah? Thank you.
Yeah, the special use, right now, we're getting a lot of them because of medical marijuana is allowed as a special use, but special uses and things like variances, requires staff time where someone fills out an application. It's reviewed maybe once or twice before everything is acceptable, and then we have to notify everyone within 300 feet. So we have to publish a notice as well. So there are a number of steps that are involved in that, and that's a separate zoning fee. That would be applied to anyone who is requesting a special use. And I'm happy to answer more questions, or Commissioner Dan, if I've explained it appropriately.
Well, it still says $250 on here right now, and it says $200 here.
Right,
So
they're proposing to bring it up, to raise it to 250.
I don't have it in front of me, so I'm,
They're proposing to bring the special use fee up to $200, and it says $250 in
Maybe you wanna
the
take a
schedule of
quick look?
fees.
Oh, yeah, there's a misprint in our.
Right.
There's a misprint in our commissioner brief.
It says 250.
Here's 175, so
no, what, the intent was to, because they both involve the same amount of steps to raise both of them.
that's not what it's.
I don't know what's,
I don't even see it.
We got special use going up from 175, that, so we should have said the variance, unless you have a.
I haven't, Gladys and I discussed it a number of times, so I would need to go back. I believe it's 175 now, and we wanted it to go up to at least 200, or,
The variance I thought was 175, and then just the special use itself was 250.
right, well, yes, that's,
Is that not right?
Well,
We're not- we're not-
what Dan's saying is, in our commissioner briefing, it says special use fee increase from $175 to $200. But on the schedule of fees, it doesn't say 200, it says 250.
50.
So you're asking actually to special use, but that's not what you're asking to raise. You're asking to raise variance interpretations and appeals,
Yeah,
yes.
you know?
so we,
We have to make an adjustment on the,
Yeah, I would say we would, it's 175, I'd like to raise it to 200.
for the
For the bare
variances.
minimum, because that also it's not as complicated as a special use, but it does involve, the staff time, and that's what
yeah,
we're,
you just flip-flop it, that's all.
that's what we're dealing with.
So it'll be $200 for the variant, for a variance and
Right.
interpretation
Yes.
Correct.
or an appeals
Yes. Please,
That's,
to 200, not 250.
correct.
And the 250 is already at,
Yeah,
that was
that's-
approved in 2013.
Yes.
So I mean, you know,
It may just be that the typo is where it's where the proposed is.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
There was a typo in the briefing.
No.
no, it's not actually. I mean, either, you know, I mean, I don't see how it could be a typo, because the thing about it is it's specific, says special use, and ZBA variance interpretation and appeals are completely two different things. So, I wouldn't believe it was a typo. It was probably written up wrong, and then it was typed up the way it was written. And the fee, you know, the 175, 200, that doesn't really tell me anything, because it's two completely different things. And
Like, the intent was the variance was to go from 175 to 200.
Right.
And the proposed by zoning administrator got put under
The wrong
special
spot.
use, and we
Gotcha.
saw, we went with that, but the number increase was the 175 to 200 for the variance.
I think that was the intent.
Okay,
It was
gotcha.
just
Yeah, I think so too.
But thanks, Commissioner, for bringing that to our attention.
Good catch.
I had one question. I noticed that we charge $10 for fingerprinting. And several years ago, I needed someone in my family to get fingerprinted, and I was told at the police department that that is not done at our police department. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct. That item can be removed because
Okay.
all fingerprints have to be, let me say, not removed, but In occasions where we have to do fingerprints for out-of-state applications and purposes, we charge that $10 fee. The state of Michigan requires electronic fingerprinting.
Okay.
And so we do not do that for, in Michigan, applications such as teachers and things like that. They have to go to an electronic
Right.
location. We don't have that at Buchanan. We have one over the courthouse, and now there's commercial businesses that do that, and they schedule time at the courthouse to come and do those. So we're, for the state of Michigan, we're out of that business, but we get applications for different things that are required by other states that will need fingerprints, and we still do fingerprinting.
Okay,
And we
thank
do
you.
charge at $10.
Okay. And I wanted everybody to know our prices for a notary are super inexpensive compared to, if you take it to the bank, I don't know, I think I got charged $20 at the bank for a notary, and here at City Hall, it's $1. So I'd like citizens to
Supposed
know
to be
that.
free everywhere. I
All
do have
right.
a couple more questions.
Okay, Dan, what's your next question?
Third offense decreased to $100. What was it?
It was 200.
So, what was the reasoning, Dale? Do you know why they wanted to reduce that?
No, I just happened to see there was per section 2605. I really didn't know, Dan. So,
If you read that statute, and in the, I believe it was in the charter, wasn't it, Deborah?
So it was state law, or?
That we couldn't charge more than $100.
Okay,
okay. I
okay.
didn't, I figured this was,
And then there was one other one, on the taxes. Aren't you charged, isn't it 4% on your taxes if you're delinquent? So this is above and beyond the 4%?
Yes, yes.
This is for the collection, right?
Yeah, because those go to the county. We don't get a reimbursement for the extra staff time that we,
So the county's stiffing us, so we gotta go stiff the taxpayer a little bit more,
yep.
pretty much. Okay.
All right, anybody else?
no.
All right, I guess then, I need a motion to.
I'll make the motion to approve the updated schedule of fees.
I'll support.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please, Gladys?
Hess,
Yes.
Bianski,
No.
Torney,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
passed by majority, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Gladys. And I'd like to move on to item number 9, public comments. Citizens are allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss any non-agenda item. When you approach the microphone, please state your name as well as your address.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Good? Your name and
can't
your
talk.
address.
Oh, my name is Mildred Poole. My address is 109 Liberty Street, Apartment 2, Buchanan, Michigan, 49107. I'm here to address something that I noticed, and I wasn't here at the last meeting, but Mayor knows why. I seen something here that I noticed when I came home just recently when I came on the 5th meeting, on the 5th of February, I missed that meeting. But I noticed something that I don't understand, and please help me today to understand it. Because I noticed everything. I try to scope out the city to see what we can be improved in, but I do notice as we enter the city of Buchanan, it's so dead when you get to State Farm and you get to the old My Chemical Bank drive-through. Okay, not to say nothing about that. It seems like it should be something there outside of just looking too dead. Because Harding's is up in the, up above it, and it looked like it's just the city's dead. But that's not really what I want to say. I'm just stating that. Now I'm going to sit down. The thing is, I just wonder why don't we have our new queen, Miss Cara Scarum, whatever her name is. Why isn't her picture out there for the Queen of Buchanan? Why is something old 4 and 5 years ago? That doesn't make sense. She ran, I'm just going to state for her, I don't know her, but that I didn't like because I know how those girls' pageants are. She ran and she won. Why is these old pictures out there of the queens 4 and 5, 6 years old? That doesn't make any sense. Thank
Okay.
you.
I think I can address that unless you want to. Mildred, those are, you can have a seat. Yeah, we've had some problems with the city limit sign. There's an article or a parcel of land that we don't own that is kind of hard, we can't legally go and groom it and make it look better. As far as the signs, you have to be a Blossom Time winner to be at the city limits, and we haven't had a Blossom Time winner in about that long of time. So this year we might have a Blossom Time winner, and we will for sure get her picture up and get it going. And yes, all right, Dale.
In regards to the dead looking, this is about as high as I can talk. I've been involved with the city manager about sprucing up the sign, and I think the sign's going to be spruced up, and that'll sort of brighten up the area. I've also been on their case for 2 or 3 years to get new signs, which we spent the whole morning with, and I think we'll be talking about that at our budget meeting, because I still have the pictures from three years ago. So I'm hoping to spruce it up, yes. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you. Okay, anyone else for public comment?
Jim Cronin, 302 Lake Street,
Hi, Jim.
Buchanan. Been a lifelong resident of Buchanan. And then this might be a little late coming, but I just got an opinion on medical marijuana and city commissioners. The city commissioners are elected by the people of Buchanan, and you're supposed to represent the people of Buchanan. And when I talked to a few people, they were against this medical marijuana. And so I don't think the majority of the Buchanan people want this here. And if they don't want it, and you're the city commissioners, why did you vote for it? My answer is for money. And I don't think you should sell the residents of Buchanan out for money. And what's going to happen when recreational marijuana comes up for vote this fall, and that gets approved, then what is Buchanan going to turn into? It's just opened a can of worms. I think these people are trying to lay a foundation with medical marijuana just in case recreational marijuana is approved. Then they got their foot in the door, and then we're going to turn Buchanan into a little pot town, which I don't want. But it's already been decided. Nothing else I can do about it unless I move. And that's about all I got to say on that subject.
Okay, thank you.
But I would like to ask the city manager about when of our roads ever going to get fixed.
Okay, that's coming up too, so.
I mean, we just resurfaced the downtown down there, and it's supposed to have been, this is a great pavement here. Boy, it don't look too good down there now. And Shermer Parkway, like a washboard. Out on 4th Street, schools out there, the buses out there, like a washboard. And I can't even remember last time my street was paved. I mean, I know it's just throw the rocks down, throw the tar down, put the rocks on, but at least it was something. And I don't know where my tax dollars are going. But I'm just disappointed that majority, I think, I can't prove it, the majority of the people of Buchanan don't want this, and we got it anyway. Niles Township turned it down, Bering Springs turned it down, so it could have been turned down, and with Niles opening up a bunch of places over there, Bering County, you could find it. You don't have to come to Buchanan. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, anyone else? All right, and with that, we'll close our public comments, and now we're on to item number, 10, city manager's comments. Bill?
Mayor and Commissioners, we've been struggling a little bit to find a date for the goal setting. We had talked about March 3rd, had a lot of conflicts. March 10th would be our next one. We have one commissioner unavailable for that day. I I would like to have a discussion, maybe with some ideas and options. There's an opportunity, maybe we could schedule evening meetings, 2 evening meetings to try to get the goal-setting process in. Do you have any ideas or any other suggestions? I was thinking of the opposite Mondays to a commission meeting, possibly scheduling 2 to a 3 hour period on opposite Mondays to try to get at least half of the goal-setting process in. Do that over a couple of Mondays.
I like that idea personally,
But
to do it on our off Monday.
with all the issues that we have to discuss, it's going to be more than just 1 or 2 Mondays.
Good possibility. I mean, Saturdays work out the best, to Saturday morning, then we have whatever we need that whole day to get all that process in, so.
Well, how many commissioners don't we have that can show up on the 3rd, and how many commissioners don't we have that can show up on the 10th?
Let's see, we had, I think, 2 on the 3rd weren't available. We'd lose some staff that afternoon. Then on the 10th, we have, so far Carla is unavailable on the 10th. So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, we're kind of late asking for it. It was put on the calendar without any discussion. I want a Saturday because I do work for a living. It's very difficult to show up here at times. And I think personally, you know, it's a rock and roll wish list date anyhow, mostly. We publish it, we really don't follow it, but I definitely want to be there because some of the wish list needs to be deleted. And the rock and roll needs to come back down to earth a little bit. But I'm open to any Saturday. I will show up any Monday as long as it's after 7 o'clock, because I'm not gonna give up $30 an hour, even though I get paid $20 an hour down here to come down here. Actually, it's more like $40 an hour on overtime to come down here to sit around and do a rock and roll wish list.
Okay, would you prefer Saturday or Monday? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble following you.
I
Which
don't
would you
care as long
prefer?
as it's after 7.
Okay. All right, Bill, you want to make a suggestion?
You know, what I was looking for was, again, input from the commission. I'll go back and I'll throw out a couple of more options for commissioners to let me know what their availability is, and then maybe we'll find a date we can get everybody to the table.
If you want it Saturday, I'm available the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, the 31st.
Me too.
17th?
Yep.
I'm available any Saturday.
It looks like I am available on the 17th also.
Okay.
17th, I think we should go with it if the staff is, Gladys, are you free on the 17th? Okay.
Do we have to wear green?
St. Patty's Day, yeah.
Oh, boy. All right.
I'll bring the Irish fluid.
And what time are we going? 9 o'clock?
Yeah, let's go at 9 o'clock.
Okay, and everyone is invited to our planning session come Saturdays, the 17th at 9 a.m. And it'll be
Should I-
posted on the door in case you forget, okay?
So, Your Honor, should I mark that down on the
Yes,
calendar?
yes,
o'clock?
please, at 9 o'clock, the 17th. Let's get this going.
Speculatively till 1.
Yes, usually till 1.
Is everybody good with that?
Yep,
Yep.
you don't need to make a motion, we're just going to do it. All right,
The other item, I do want to say thanks for the Planning Commission's efforts. They've tentatively approved Casey's convenience store. Again, they had a special meeting to clean up some issues that was met with a supporting vote by the Planning Commission. Casey's convenience store is planning to be located at Skyline and Front Street. where the old frame business is now, picture frame business next to McDonald's. So we're excited to have that new business coming to town. The other, this past week has been trying for a lot of us, the communities around us, mostly. We were blessed with having an elevation above the St. Joe River that we really weren't affected too badly by a historic high water mark and flooding on the St. Joe River. This past week, McCoy Creek has been running higher than I've ever seen it run, and probably even some historians have seen it. Although I didn't ask Don Ryman, he probably would add to that. But what I'm getting to is that with McCoy Creek running the way it had over this past week, it's a lot different than what our floodplain map, our present floodplain map would indicate. So we made some recordings, we've accumulated pictures, taken some measurements. We did a flow rate study on the creek during this week. Those are all items of material that we hope to be able to sit down with FEMA this summer and try to redraw our floodplain map, which is pretty important if you're a business and you're paying flood insurance on something that isn't in the floodplain anymore, realistically. So it's a long, kind of a drawn-out process. We're hoping to work with FEMA rather than trying to go and hire an engineering firm to do it for us. Those are usually $35,000 to $45,000 of work. So, you know, we did, you know, it was pretty well proven in reality that our floodplain is not realistic to what the present map displays. And I contribute that to a couple of things. One, the expenditure and your efforts to improve the creek several years ago. We removed the dam, did a lot of work along the banks to shore that up. We narrowed the creek, caused it to go faster, move faster, and it helped clean the silt out of the creek. So it's very efficient now, and we saw those results this week because of the amount of water that our watershed pushed through McCoy's Creek. It was very positive. In the briefing item, you learned that our city employees have gotten together and they're volunteering to be the lead on the Easter egg hunt, which is a pretty popular event in town. Gladys Crane, who orchestrated that event for many, many years, is moving on, and she's passing the reins on to what other organization may want to pick it up. Our crews at DPW, cemetery, and water and wastewater didn't want it to go unanswered this year, so they stepped up. And it was really great to see the amount of organizations that stepped up to help them. As long as they didn't have to be the focal point, they are more than willing to help. So right now we have lots and lots of people helping us to put on that Easter egg hunt. Next meeting, you'll get a request from that group asking for them to use Centennial Park rather than the Commons for the event. I think they've orchestrated the event a little bit better, and they'll have 4 age group categories based on grade level rather than ages, and the vastness of Centennial Park, they'll be able to put the eggs out and separate the different age groups so the older kids aren't running over the younger ones, and so it should turn out pretty well. So I'm very pleased with that. We already have a area church willing to take on that roll next year. So that's also positive. The fire department had their annual dinner this weekend, and they had two recognitions worthy of discussing, and that is Joe Scanlon completed 15 years of service with our volunteer fire department, and Bobby Blaylock completed 25 years of activity within our fire department. Tomorrow, I'll begin the first initial conversations with the Police Officers Labor Council on their new contract. We're coming off a 4-year contract with the police department that will expire June 30th, 2018. And we'll begin new contract talks tomorrow. We also have ASKME contract that'll be also negotiated this year later on. So that's what I've got.
Okay, thank you. All right, for commissioners' comments, we'll start off with Commissioner Viganski.
Is that, the second contract you were talking about, was that, city employees union, their contract?
Yeah, that would be the, like, DPW, cemetery,
Okay,
water,
now, can I
wastewater.
legally ask you, and stop me right away if I can't legally ask you? Has there been any question about union or non-union?
Yeah, the union or non-union, what do you mean?
I mean, to break away from it?
Oh, yeah, they have that, the state's right to work laws allow them to not be represented by a union, and some employees have taken that option. So, but there are majority of the employees that are still represented by the union.
So we have employees that are reaping the benefits of union without paying dues to the union?
That's
But-
correct.
So, I
And-
mean, my
and-
question would be, do we have any option to do away with the union altogether?
Okay, I think
No,
this
I
is a
can't.
discussion
Yeah.
for another time.
Yeah, I can't talk
Employee-
about that. I'm just-
Employee
Employees come-
things, we can't talk about employees' things in this setting.
Yeah.
But you
Employees
feel
serve
free to
as the
give your
manager.
comments, it's your turn.
Well, every time you try to bring anything up that might save the city some money and help anybody, you're out of order, but I'll go on, I'll move on. I wanted to address the marijuana. We spent 3 months down here extensively going through it. And the fact that it's probably gonna get voted on recreationally in November gives us a leg up. We can actually, probably, if we choose to, keep it out. I was very much a strong advocate for the medical marijuana. I'm probably going to be very much against the recreational. And that'll be a benefit to the community and medical marijuana, because we'll deal exclusively with medical and not recreational, if I have it my way. So, I mean, that's just to answer your question. I can't talk back and forth because they won't let you. So just take it as an
You can meet
explanation.
after the meeting. We can't take comments from the floor right now. Thank
But I
you.
wanted to address it, so I waited till my comments.
Okay,
I'm trying to learn the proper procedure. I went to Frankenmuth, and the wonderful thing that I learned up there is I need to be a little more friendly. But on the other hand, the things that I'm the maddest about and fight the hardest about, I'm 100% right. There's issues that I deal with nonstop that don't get handled correctly, but that's something to take up at a future date. The one thing I did learn, and I'll keep with me forever, the Greek meaning of politics is many blood-sucking insects. I thought that was quite enjoyable, and I wanted to tell the other commissioners that there was a point of order called on me in Frankenmuth. So, and it's pretty much the same thing, talking about labor, and the union has shut us down. They won't let us talk about anything because that might change people's minds. So, that's it.
all righty, Carla, your turn.
I really don't have anything, other than I hope that we do not have too many people that had wet basements. We had a lot of rain, and we had a lot of water go through our water department, and our department was able to handle the water quite well. And I'm just glad it all worked out. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dale?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm one of the planning commissioners, and we did a we approved a very good business for Buchanan. I think it's going to do a great thing for the city. In fact, that would lead me right into the next one, because I was at a meeting last week, and I met with Brent, I probably messed his name up, Wojciechowski. He's the treasurer for the Berrien County.
Wachowski.
Was that close or not? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Chicago-
Well, he
had
gave
a
me,
little Chicago accent there.
well, plus my voice. He gave me some information, and this is for everybody in the city of Buchanan if they're behind in their taxes for the housing. Because right now is when the time you go in to make your plans with them to pay off your taxes. And he gave me a couple of sheets, which I will forward it to Gladys if she wants to put it on the Facebook page. It's called Take a Step Forward. Some of the highlights is if you are unemployed and receiving unemployment insurance agency benefits now or in the last 12 months, you would qualify for this specific plan to help you pay your taxes on your house so you don't lose your house. The other one is if you are unemployed and can document a 20% reduction in gross income, you would qualify for this plan. The next one is if you are underwater and owe more than 115% of your property value, now's the time to come in and speak with them and set up a payment plan. They will work with you. Brett is a good person. The final thing is if you are delinquent on your mortgage, property taxes, or condo fees because of circumstances beyond your control. And his final word is act now, don't lose your home. So I will forward this on here to Gladys so she can put it on the Facebook, website, whatever. But as he was saying, now is the time to come in and talk to him, and he will set up the plans for you. My last comment is we were, the mayor and I were at the basketball game Friday night for the celebration of the 40th anniversary of the 1978. I think they were Class C at that time. Is that right,
I think
Brenda?
so, yeah.
And due to circumstances, the communication between the school and us were not too good. We got there at 6. The mayor had to leave a little earlier, and I waited to 9, and they still weren't there, so I had to leave. So we didn't have a city representative at that event. Probably a little bit more communication between the school and the city, because I think that was a very big, pretty big event. Plus, the Herd should be congratulated because they are now champions, and they will accept the Battle of the Fans 7 championship banner during halftime at the first Class B boys basketball semifinal on March 23rd at Michigan State University at Breslin Center. So I think we should all congratulate the Herd. I mean, I was there for a while and watching them, and these kids were just, I got tired watching
I
them.
know, right? I went home and had to take a nap.
And unfortunately, I met the 1976 team, and we got to talk for a while, but I didn't have a chance to talk to the champions because I guess they didn't come in till about 9:30, and I had to go. So maybe, I'm sorry I missed it, but maybe in the future. Maybe I don't know, how are we doing this year? I think they won that Friday night. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to add one thing to Commissioner Dan's comments about medical marijuana. If people think that we passed medical marijuana because we're making money, and whoever's saying that is dead wrong. So you can just tell whoever told you that, you can just tell them that was not part of the equation. And we literally spent more than 3 months. And we did a lot of education, and we heard from a lot of people. And it's been over a year now, and we have a strong ordinance, and the application process is weeding out all the people that wouldn't be appropriate to do business. And our ordinance also provides to look at every business a year Every year, we look at our ordinance, we look at the businesses, we can go there anytime and check on them. So I'm very comfortable with all the decisions that have been made from this body, and I am very proud of city staff as well as this commission. And with that, I would like to move that we go to a closed session. We need to review the minutes from the 2 closed sessions from our last regularly scheduled meeting on the 12th. But I need to read it. The city manager. I'm sorry, I forgot to recognize you earlier. Okay, with that, we'd like to reconvene the meeting. And I believe we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
motion.
that motion.
I'll second.
Oh,
Can we delay that? You need to approve the minutes.
oh, okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes from both closed sessions.
Also move.
Okay,
Second.
okay, roll call, please.
Moore? Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
Bianski?
Yes.
Hess?
Yes?
Cole?
Yes.
Turney?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous?
Okay, and with that, I need a motion to
We
adjourn.
have a motion, don't we?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Or don't we? I have a standing motion.
That's for
Okay.
an aye.
It was Carla and then Dale. I learned a little bit this week.
Good job. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It's the very same thing I got called point of order on.